Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Miss Faye and this is my world. Okay, uh, we're back in the garden today and we're going to talk about watch out for people with bad intentions. Okay, watch out for people with bad intentions. Now, we got a noisy bird out here today, so I hope that's not too distracting and you're able to understand this message. Before we get started, I want to say welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to all of the new viewers, all of the new subscribers, and all of the subscribers that have been with me from the beginning. I appreciate you so very, very much. Now, today's message was really prompted by a letter that came in. And for those of you who are new to the channel, I have begun answering your questions. Now, there's something I want to say about that. Um, my intention is not to hurt anybody's feelings or to put anybody on the spot or anything like that. My intentions are to help and to heal. And I realize that sometimes my responses come out a little harsh. I really don't mean for that to happen. It's just that I'm going to tell you the truth. And sometimes the truth uh, is not soft and fluffy. It's just the truth. You understand? So I apologize for anybody if I ruffled any feathers or anything like that. That is not my intention. My intention is to raise you to have a happy and better life. You understand? These messages are for your well-being. And I'm hoping that you can receive it like that. Okay? I love you all. So let's talk about this issue. Watching out for people with bad intentions. We're going to start off with a video about the Uber drivers. Um, I know today Uber and Lyft and all of those contracted drivers, people just hop in, for a ride home. What I want to say here is women, always be in a buddy system. You go out, have a good time. Do not do this on your own. Don't be alone. Do not jump into these cars alone. You need people with you because I don't know how these drivers are screened, but I do know that some of them carry weapons for their own protection. But where's your protection? From them or from anybody else? Women, be careful. See, we're going into the summer months now, and here you are, showing skin, wearing your little skimpies, and out and just having a good time. But while you're doing that, it's better if you have your girlfriends with you. Don't be out there by yourself. Don't be out there by yourself. And wherever you go, you know, always make sure somebody is with you. Don't jump into these cars by yourself. You don't know these people, and they don't know you. And every driver is not out there with good intentions. I remember I was in New York once, and I was with, my sister and her daughter, and we called the Uber, right? So it was at night, and when the guy came around, we knew it was him, and he looked at us, and he drove off. I don't know what that was about, but hey, I look at rejection as a blessing. We don't know what he had in mind. You understand? Accepting these kind of rides can be dangerous, and you need to be aware of that. Now, I'm not saying that all Uber or Lyft drivers have bad intentions, but some of them do. Okay. Now, when I lived in New York, there was a thing called the gypsy cab. You know, I mean, you come out of the subway and the cars are right there. You just jump in a car and he takes you wherever the bus would have taken you to your stop, right? But these cars were packed with people because they would just pull up to the subway, and when you come out of the subway, you knew it was a gypsy cab. You just jump in, you see, and then he takes you the bus route. But the Uber drivers are different. You know what I'm saying? They are different, and I think you need to be aware of that. Understand? Just be aware. So we're gonna look at this video, and then we're gonna talk more about it. Okay? So here we go.
Ladies, be fucking careful. An Uber driver that drove me to work about 3 weeks ago came to my job tonight. He asked the host for me by name, and they told this man I was upstairs and let him straight to me. I don't know this man, but he remembered where I work. I have a similar Uber story when I went to go get my vaccine at a Safeway that was really far from my house. This Safeway at the time was the only place that had vaccines available, and I really wanted to get it over with, but it was really far, like it was on the edge of town. I let the Uber driver know that because we were just making small talk, and he offered to wait for me till I was done getting my vaccine because he said there were barely any Ubers that were in that area. I thought it made sense and I agreed, and he didn't give me any red flags because he was giving me like grandpa vibes because he was a really old man. He asked for my number and told me to let him know when I was done and he would just bring the car around. I gave him my number, I got the vaccine, and the lady that gave me the vaccine was like, oh, just wait here 15 minutes in case there's any severe reactions or symptoms with your vaccines. As I'm waiting, there was like a knock on the door, and it was my Uber driver, and he was like, hey, you haven't texted. I wanted to see if everything was okay. I don't know, up until this point I just thought he was being very like nice and like grandfatherly, so I didn't really think it was that creepy. It wasn't until I got this chill down my back on the way back to my house because my eyes started to get like really heavy and I started to get really sleepy, which I assume was a symptom from the vaccine. And he was like, oh, you can take a nap. And like, I don't know why that creeped me out, and I was like, no, I'm staying up. I got home safely, and then I thought that was the end of it. And a couple days later, he texted me. He was like, good morning, how's the vaccine? I didn't recognize the number, so I was like, who's this? And he's like, remember the Uber driver, the one that drove you to get your vaccine? And I was like, oh, it's good, thanks for checking up, how nice of you. I just left it at that, but then he started to text me periodically, like day after day. He was like, good morning, how are you? Hi, sunshine. And I never responded. And 2 weeks later, thank God I wasn't home, I went back to my parents' house, and they live in a different city, and I was staying at their place over the weekend. This time I get a call from the Uber driver, and he's like, hey, I'm downstairs at your lobby. He's like, what's your unit number? Buzz me in. And I was like, why are you in my house? He's like, oh, I'm just checking in on you. And I hung up on him because I was so creeped out. I called our concierge and I told him to like not let that guy in or give him any information about me, and the concierge was like, yeah, of course. I didn't find out until I got home a couple days later that the concierge actually had to call the cops on this fucking Uber driver. He wouldn't stop insisting to the concierge to let him in because he wanted to see me. And the concierge was like, no, she just called and told us not to let you in. She doesn't know you. I don't know the exact details, but the concierge saying that like tipped him off, and he just started to cause a scene in front of everyone at the lobby. I submitted a report to Uber, and I never heard from that driver again.
Okay, let me read the letter. Okay, let's go here. Taking an Uber these days can be risky and very dangerous. The drivers are not really experienced like cab or New York taxi driver, but more like regular drivers trying to make extra money. Yeah, that's what they are. Regular drivers trying to make extra money. Okay? Regular people. That's the point. Regular people. And some of these people do not have good intentions. They're out there trying to make money, but you are a pretty girl and you get in the car, their mind can start racing. Okay? Some try to take you places you did not request, and sometimes the wrong car is sent to pick you up at your destination. Then if you call an Uber trying to leave a terrible dinner date, then chances are the creep will follow you home to see where you live. How can we women maneuver around this? Okay. Now you see, just like in the video, how it can turn dangerous right away. You jump in a car, you're by yourself. You see, this man knows where you live and all of that. I don't think it's a safe thing for you to do. I think you need, have your girlfriend with you. At least he can't He can't tell who's who. You understand, when there's a bunch of you together. So just be aware of that. And also, with you vacationing and that kind of thing, listen, ladies, you got to be careful. Do not go out alone. That's how you maneuver around this. Do not go out on your own. Try not to do that. And jumping into these Ubers or whatever. I don't even know where is the liability. If you jump into the car with this man and there's an accident, who bears the liability? The driver? I mean, Uber? Who says that the driver even has insurance? You don't know anything. You just looking for a ride. Ladies, just be careful. Be very careful. Okay? And another thing I want to say about people with bad intentions. Because you're out having fun, it's hot, and all sorts of people are out there. For those of you who travel, I want to tell you something that happened to me when I went to Hawaii. Uh, I was walking on the beach with my sister, and this man approached us, and he was selling these little bracelets or whatever they were, and we didn't want to buy one, or anything like that. So he said, "Okay, well, just take one. This is for you as a gift." You understand? So they were cute little beaded bracelets. So we put them on, and we're walking along the beach and everything. And soon we met up with my nephew, and he knew what this was about. He said, "Where'd you get those bracelets?" So I said, "Oh, man, back there gave it to us." And he told us, "Yeah, that's a mark. What they do is that they mark people who, as you go along, you are marked to be robbed." You understand? So who would have thought? Who would have thought that people are out here to take advantage of you like that? But yeah, that's what these little bracelets were, to mark certain people that they deemed as an easy person who could be robbed. Understand? So, ladies, I'm just telling you that story because I want you to be careful. A lot of us are traveling now to new places, you see. When you travel, make sure you're with a buddy. Don't be out there by yourself. I saw a thing on TV where this lady was encouraging people to travel on their own. If you don't have anybody to travel with, come on. I traveled on my own and I had a wonderful time. I think that could be dangerous. I think that can be dangerous for women to go out here and travel on your own. It's just too many things that can happen to you out here. Now, I do have a few letters that I want to go through, and we'll talk more about this as we go on. Okay? All right. This one is feeling stupid after sex. I would love to have input from other women as well. Okay, this is someone who wanted me to read this letter specifically because she wants to know what you think about this situation. All right, so here we go. Recently, I reconnected with an old male friend. I am going through a divorce and feeling very lonely. I was glad to see him after all these years. At first, when he asked me for my number, I said no because I'm going through a divorce. He kept asking. So I said, okay, since I already know him. It has been at least 20 years since I last saw him. We were in our 20s the last time we saw each other. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Even though we were young, I remember him being very sexually pleasing and an attentive love maker. So when he asked to reconnect, I was excited. Yeah, you were excited because you remember the good old days. You understand? You remember the good old days. But it's been 20 years since you saw him. You kind of stuck in a time warp here. Okay, let's see what else happened. We are in our 40s now. So when he asked to reconnect, I was excited. So I just knew with maturity, he would be even better in bed. Why'd you think that? Why would maturity make you better in bed? Okay, let's see. I was eager, I can't lie. To just be honest, I just wanted the good sex that I remembered. Okay, of course, we are older. However, I eat well, drink water, and exercise to keep myself feeling and looking my best. However, he picked up weight, he has a pot belly, and he is going bald. Oh, he wasn't that Adonis that you remember. Of course not. Of course not. Okay. But still handsome. The sex was terrible. He was heavy, tired, sweaty, and TMI. Could not keep an erection. He asked me to help him out with getting it up. You know what he wanted. At first I said absolutely not. After some time I gave in, as I remember we both used to please one another orally. That was 20 years ago. That you living in the past. You understand? Well, after I pleased him, he finished and said he had to go, but he would make it up to me. I was so angry. I bet you were. I said, "Oh no, you are going to do it right now." He said, "Baby, I can't. I have to go. Next time will be better." The next day, he texted me, hinting at coming over. I told him that I was good seeing him after so many years, but I don't think we need to reconnect again. I still feel stupid though. I can't stop thinking about him, even though he turned me off, and I don't want him. He used to be such a nice guy. It is so hard to believe he is like this today. I feel dirty and worse than before. I wish I could rewind and take my sex back. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now, let's talk about this. All right. You you haven't seen this man in 20 years. Okay? And so you're still stuck in the past when you knew him. You understand? And apparently your relationship with him was pure sexual anyway. And you wanted to reconnect with him just for sexual pleasure. Understand? People change. You change. You're not the same person you were 20 years ago, and neither is he. So, I mean, you feel bad because the sex wasn't good. That's the only reason that you feel bad. You understand? And he uh, is not interested in rekindling a relationship with you. You stated in a letter that you were lonely because you were going through a divorce. You see, many times when people break up, they are hurt and confused and lonely and just feeling bad, and you feel like if you can just be with somebody and have good sex, that'll make it all better. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That few minutes of pleasure does not make that loneliness that you feel from the breakup go away. Any kind of breakup, you got to heal from that. You got to heal from a breakup. You cannot just, roll into another relationship. It never works. It never works. And I'm speaking from experience. Yeah, because when I broke up my last relationship, yeah, I had the same mentality that a lot of people have. The best way to get over a heartbreak is to reconnect or to connect with somebody else. You see, put your focus on somebody else. And that is the way to get over a heartbreak. No, it's not. It's not. It's nothing. It's empty. And that's what you were trying to do, I believe, being with this man. And he was just out for the sex. You see? And for him to say he's got to go, you can show right there he was just in it for the sex, and now he's got other things, other fish to fry. You understand? He's got other things to do that did not include you. And that's why you feel dirty or whatever you feel, because, number one, you rushed to sex too fast. That was on your mind. And I believe it was on your mind because of your breakup. Once you heal from a breakup, then you'll feel better about yourself again. It'll help you to love yourself again and to know your value and your worth. You understand? And you won't be so freely just to give yourself to these people. And that's what you did here. You just gave it away. He didn't have to do anything for it. He didn't have to say anything for it. And all he had to do was just make a little time for it. And a little time is all you got. You understand? So yeah, I just believe you sold yourself short on this one. And it's a lesson. You know, life is all about lessons and blessings. So this was a lesson for you not to repeat. Not to repeat it. It's no good for you. Take your time. Sex does not help you get over a heartbreak. It doesn't. I'm going to put a link in the description. You look at this video, how to heal from heartbreak. And this will help you. Understand? So let's see if we can look at one of these other letters here. Okay, here's another young lady that says, I ghosted a man I was in a relationship with because he would leave and come back so often that he started feeling like a stranger to me. Although I cared for him, I wasn't sure why he seemed so comfortable with not having contact for long periods of time. So I ended it. Okay. That was 2 years ago. But I've met another man like that. Why are some men notorious for breaking up to make up? Do you think they have commitment issues or living double lives or something more nefarious? Okay, here it is. Understand, ladies. Understand this. You are creating your own reality. You are creating this. You understand? You didn't heal from the first guy, and you keep meeting the same energy over and over and over again. There's plenty of good men out here. Plenty of good men who would love to meet you. But you are attracting the same type of man over and over again because you never heal. You never heal from your last experience. You never took your time to heal, to take your power back, to know yourself, and to love yourself. These things are extremely important for your better good. You can't just roll out from one relationship into another relationship. It does not work like that. If you want to meet a different type of man, then you need to make some changes in your life. You are creating this. You are attracting these type of men. It's not the men, it's you. You understand? You need to love yourself. You need to know your worth. You need to raise your vibration so you don't keep attracting this type of energy. You see? And these men don't mean you any good. They don't they don't they don't have good intentions for you. They're just coming to take advantage of you, to get what they can and to go on to the next one. Get what they can and go on to the next one. You are attracting this type of energy. And I need for you women to understand that. Don't look outside and blame what's going on in your environment. You need to look inside yourself because you are creating it. You are bringing it into your life. You need to change. Change yourself. Change the way you think about things. Raise your vibration. Be more positive about your life. You understand? And the things that you speak. Always speak positive. Don't blame and don't look outside yourself for the things that you want and the things that you need. Look inside yourself for that. You understand? And you'll be much happier people. Now, ladies, I do want to say more about uh, watch out for people with bad intentions. Now, I know we started off the video talking about the Uber driver, Lyft, same thing. Any kind of contracted driver. You understand? These new companies that are popping up and just hiring people. These people aren't screened or anything. You understand? These are just companies popping up trying to make money. And they will hire anybody. They'll hire as long as you got a car and a license, they'll hire you to go out and pick up people. These people could be anybody. They could be psychopaths, sociopaths, killers, whatever, rapists, anybody. Ladies, just be aware of these things. Don't just hop into these cars to take you home. And have a buddy. Have somebody with you. Especially you going out and you want to get high, you want to drink or whatever you want to do. And you don't want to drive. So you're going to call one of these drivers. Make sure you have somebody with you. The more, the better. To make sure that you get home and these people don't take advantage of you. Because everybody doesn't have good intentions. You understand? Everybody doesn't have good intentions. Just like we saw in the video where this man is stalking this woman. Now she's got an issue with this man. Just want you to be careful. Watch out for these things. It's very important because, the seasons are changing and you're out there, having a good time. But there are people with bad intentions that are out there to take advantage of you during these times. So, ladies, I hope that you understand this message and I hope that it helps someone. Just be aware of wherever you go and whatever you're doing. Be aware of your surroundings. And just don't be out there alone by yourself. Don't do it. And you joggers, when you're jogging, I know I do the walking, and I used to walk early in the morning or later in the afternoon. Be careful. Be very careful. Because, these people, these evil people are out here, just ready to pounce. And I want you to be safe. So I think I'm going to end it here. And I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. And for those of you who are interested in these hats, these caps, I now have them in my online store. So if you go in the description, you will see a link that says online store, and you're able to order the hats if you're interested. Okay? And for those of you who are interested in sending a letter and you'd want me to respond to you, here is the link. Send your letters to MissFaye'sWorld@hotmail.com. Try to keep your letters to one page. Just summarize the situation and ask the question, and I will get back to you. Now, for those of you who would rather me answer through the email, just say it at the top of the letter, and I will comply. And for those of you who send your letters in, and I feel I feel that the response can help the collective, I will read your letter online and respond there. I know I get some letters and people say, "Will you please read it online?" because they want to hear your responses. And I will try to comply with that. So I thank you all for your comments. I thank you for your donations, and I thank you for your letters. So I wish you all well. I wish you happiness, and I hope to see you next time.